YouTube, internet, all my internet friends, YouTube friends. Wow, that sun is just, that's a kicker, man. Apologize, but hopefully it doesn't ruin the visual video of me talking. So, as you've probably seen by the title, today I'm going to talk about our first long road trip in the Model Y, our brand new Model Y. It had 600-ish miles on it when we left, and it had 22,000 some miles on it when we got back. It was about almost an 800-mile one-way drive, which was our very first drive where we relied on superchargers. We had used superchargers. I mean, we used them once just to figure out to confirm that it worked. Why wouldn't it? But why wouldn't you confirm? So we had used them once with each of the cars we had, and but this was the first time we solely relied on those. And actually, our destination where we went did not have one in the town, but it did have a charge point charger at the hotel we stayed at. So we were able to use that when we were there, which was nice. And so let's just get into it. But before we do, also in the title of this video, I'm going to talk about it at the end of the video, our rough start to the trip. So fear not, you will see that at the end of the video if you make it that far, and a clip of what happened. So we embarked on a road trip to Colorado, to Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Beautiful place, beautiful place. So we went to Steamboat Springs, we drove across Kansas, we drove across Colorado, and it was great. The Tesla did excellent. It actually did better on range than I thought it would. So super happy about that. It was super comfortable. The only thing that I did not, that wasn't like a 10 in my book, was that the phantom braking. The phantom braking, I noticed on our trip, was really bad when we crested hills and when we would go under overpasses where there was, I don't know if it was a shadow on the overpass or what, but phantom braking was an issue, to a point where I just decided to not use cruise, and I turned off all the sensors that I could on the car and just drove it like a normal car. Because what was happening was it was doing that really bad, and people, like my wife and kids, were trying to rest, and it was scaring the kids, so I turned it off for a while. I don't know if it was just the shadows or what, like I said. But anyway, turned it off for a while. Everybody calmed down. And ultimately, the cruise was really what I used the most instead of autopilot. And the cruise, once I turned all the sensors I could off that I knew of, it was a lot better. So anyway, that was that. But we spent about $170 probably on charging at the superchargers, and then a couple bucks, maybe $5-6 at the hotel charging, because we didn't really drive much while we were there. We walked most places and everything was close that we drove to, so we didn't have to charge much. But yeah, it was great. $170. I calculated it out, and I think that would have been, at the time, that would have been equivalent to driving like a car or a vehicle that would have gotten 40-ish miles a gallon, maybe. So, it's cheaper than the comparable SUV that we would have driven out by far. But you're still forking out a couple $100 almost on charging on a trip like that. And at that time, that was over the July 4th weekend, or Independence Day weekend, I like to say. So yeah, you know, not butthurt about that. It was either that or drive my truck, which would have cost us probably $500. So I think we've made the right decision. Actually, probably more than $500. So yeah, charging wasn't free, but it wasn't expensive. On the way out, we stopped one more time to charge than we did on the way back. And so we stopped in Topeka, we stopped in Hayes, we stopped in Goodland, Kansas, and Lyman, Kansas. Then we stopped in, or Lyman, Colorado, sorry. And then we stopped in Kremling, Colorado, which was the last place on our trip to Steamboat that had a supercharger. Yeah, and then on the way back, we actually made it from Steamboat to Lyman, I believe, maybe a little further. I think it was Lyman, without charging in Kremlin or anywhere between. And that was, I think, that was close to that was between 200 and 250 miles. But a lot of that reasoning was because when we came out of the mountains, the regenerative braking gave us that extra range that we needed to get there. So that was awesome. And then basically we stopped at the same places on the way back. Another thing I want to hit on is the car. We had a Model 3, and then we got this Model Y. The Model Y has just enough extra leg room in the back seats to put like what we did was we put our carry-on luggage in there sideways, standing up on its side, and it worked great. Just A+. So we had absolutely no issues with room in the car, taking all that we needed and getting in there comfortably with two kids in the back and my wife and I up front. So car was super comfortable. Weird thing happened. So I didn't realize that you can't pull the headrest up on the Tesla, at least the Model Y. I assume that's the same with the Model 3. I don't know. But I didn't realize that wasn't a thing. And I pulled it up and it moved. I was like, awesome. But I heard like a clunk. And what happened was that's not supposed to pull up, I guess, that easy. And it actually pulled the headrest bars hold the plastic back of the seat on. So the back of the seat fell off. I was able to get it back on, but that was like just a random thing that happened with the car. I noticed we did have some rock chips on it when we got back, which was unfortunate. I'm going to try to get those touched up and put some clear bra or clear vinyl on it to keep that from happening in the future. You live and you learn, yeah, but to be honest, overall great trip. One last thing before I get into what happened at the start of the trip that about killed us. So the car, and this is my assumption, I don't know this like for 100% certainty, but this is what I assumed by when I was looking at the trip planner and stuff. So what I did before we left was I charged the car to 90% because that's what we were going to have as a charge when we left. I put the destination in there. It gave me the expected stops, yada, yada, yada. I also did it on the Tesla website, just to kind of compare, and they were very, very similar. So pretty cool on that. But what we didn't necessarily follow all the stops that the car was telling us to. So the car was saying, you know, charge anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes or so at the charging stations, and then you would arrive at your next one with 15 to 20% battery. What I assume it was doing was giving you the most efficient way to get to from point A to point B. Because we, with the kids, and you know, we drove overnight a little bit, we didn't want to have to stop as often as the Tesla was planning it out for us. So what we did was we charged longer and charged anywhere from 90 to 100%, so we could skip a stop here and there. We weren't able to skip them all because there wasn't enough chargers in some spots, but we were able to skip a couple of them. So ultimately, the time we saved by skipping those stops, we probably took more time, because it takes longer for your car to charge from like 50 to 100 than it does from 0 to 50, you know, if you were to get in that situation. So the car charges super fast when it's got a low battery, but once you get, you know, past 50% or whatever, it charges a lot slower. So we actually added some time to our trip by doing that, I think, but it worked out for us. We were able to stop and eat breakfast and lunch and let the car just charge while we were in there, and so, you know, it worked out great for our scenario. So now I'm gonna finish the video off by basically showing, I'm gonna tell you what happened and then show you what happened. As you can see by the title, we about got hit head on by a box truck. So we left about 3 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and it was July 3rd, and we were on a toll road. It's about not even an hour, probably like a 45-minute span where the road is tolled, and we were just cruising along, and it was about 4 o'clock, and this semi was in the right lane, and we were in the left lane behind 3 other cars, which was the only cars that I had hardly seen on the road. We just all got bunched up behind this one car that was going super slow and just kind of lollygagging in the left lane and not passing the semi. So there was a car in front of me, and that car was real frustrated. You could tell by the driving maneuvers that they were doing that they wanted to get past. So this car, the first car, it got over in front of the semi, and then the car in front of us, it just gunned it, and then all of a sudden it just jerked over into the right lane as we were cresting a hill. And there's a box truck coming down the interstate in the wrong lane, or in wrong way in our lane, and luckily, I don't know what the car would have done if it was on autopilot, but luckily it wasn't, and I was driving and paying attention, and the semi, I could see out of my peripheral vision on the right, the semi got over, so I got over just a little bit. I couldn't see how far the semi was over, I just knew that it was over, and I got over because I was looking at this box truck and making sure that it wasn't that it wasn't going to hit me, so I could know, like, if it did swerve or something, I could make the quickest reaction that I could. And so I got over just as much as I needed to, and then the box truck ended up getting off the right side of, well, hit my left side, his right side, enough to go around us. And it was scary. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, Sunday, you know, like, you're awake, but you're not awake, right? So I'm going to show the clip here after this and to finish off the video. But if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching, and, you know, don't be scared to hit that subscribe and like button and comment. Talk to me. How many people have been commenting lately? Like interacting with y'all. I'm going to be posting more stuff for the Tesla, and more stuff for the truck, more stuff for the tractor. I'm building a wall. I'm all doing all sorts of stuff, bro. Sis? Yeah. Anyway, appreciate you watching. Have a good day.